Hi, my name is Eva Steiner and this is my project Psychotherapists Around the Globe. I am interviewing the psychotherapists around the world and asking them the same 8 questions. I am wondering how mental health profession is in their country. Today we are going to... Thank you for doing this interview with me. Before we start, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Hello, Eva. My name is Izabela Wójtowicz. I'm Polish, living in Norway for 13 years. Right now, I'm working as a psychotherapist, but I have a background in pedagogy, and I was working as a kindergarten teacher in Norway for 10, 11 years.
Tell me a little bit about Norwegian culture. What is some holiday or tradition that the country celebrates? And if the culture would be an emotion, what emotion would it be?
So today we have just the perfect day for our meeting and talking about the Norwegian culture. Today it's 17th of May, and this is the most important day in the whole year for Norwegians because today is the day of the Constitution. And it's a free day and everyone is going out and partying. And the day starts from having a breakfast. The celebration is to meet everyone, to gather the families, friends, and everyone meets for the breakfast. And for the breakfast, you drink champagne with strawberries. You eat sweets. And very traditional Norwegian breakfast. It's a fish, a salmon with some knekkebrød, which is like a dry bread. And then you just have some sweets. Everyone is getting their own uniforms, their clothes, which it's defined by the region where you come from. All the outfits are very beautiful, hand embroidered, and it's just amazing to see the variety of each, like a little tribe that you come from. And also there is a parade. The parade, it's in every city. In Oslo, like I lived in Oslo most of the time. So you have parade through the main street, and everyone goes to the king's palace to greet the king. And the royal family greets everyone, especially children. This parade, it's made out of the different groups that are active at school. So there is also like a music group, the orchestra, everyone is playing, every neighborhood it's coming along, and everyone goes to greet the king. Afterwards, people go to the parks, having fun, enjoying themselves, and this is ongoing party. So it's a lot of drinking, it's a lot of concerts. The city, the village is just vibrant. Everyone is joyful. Everyone just greet themselves. In the morning, the orchestra having also the parades in your neighborhood so you can listen to the music. There is a lot of Norwegian flags, all the Norwegian colors. They are just literally everywhere.
Then if the country would be an emotion?
I would say that it will be kindness and also like a kind smile. The downside of this emotion, I would say it will be shyness.
In what way shyness?
Shyness, not taking space, not being too much interrupted. Shyness, being humble, and also not taking the initiative.
How did you become a psychotherapist, and what is your psychotherapeutic approach?
My approach is Gestalt therapy approach. When I moved to Norway, as I was working as a kindergarten teacher, I felt the curiosity about learning how we people are created and how we are creating also our relationships and how we behave. And I found that Gestalt therapy was something that reflects how I'm thinking and also gives tools already tools to work with myself and with other people. I've studied Gestalt therapy in Oslo, in the Gestalt Therapy Institute, and the studies takes place for 4 years. These studies enable you to work as a therapist. There is a mandatory individual therapy you need to go to for 4 years. Every week I was doing my own therapy. You also go to the group session therapy, and you also have a supervision. As a student can take already some clients, but then you go to the supervision. These studies are pretty long, but the focus is on your own development. So it says that as much as you know about yourself, as much as you know how you are working, so you will be able to provide the process for the other.
From this, I am assuming that in Norway, you can go directly to psychotherapeutic approach and you don't have to be a psychologist, for example, to become a psychotherapist. Can you maybe explain a little bit more? How is the system there?
Right. So in Norway, you can work as a psychotherapist because this title, it's not protected. So everyone can call themselves psychotherapist. Psychologist is a protected title. However, in the field of psychotherapy, there are organizations that are protecting this title and having their own rules how you can facilitate this therapy. Based on that rules that are interconnected with psychologists in Norway, psychotherapist is conducting therapy in the ethical way and also has to provide the professional care, which means that there are certain demands what you need to do to be a professional psychotherapist. So if you are connected to such an organization, to such a board, then you have, I would say, like higher status as a psychotherapist. So as a Gestalt therapist, we have our own association that protects our title, and we are obligated to go to the supervision and also to all the time gain a professional approach in what we are doing. There are also some other types of therapy that they are not that protected. So yeah, you can do whatever you want to.
Mm-hmm. So there is no law for psychotherapy?
No. And the psychotherapy in Norway, it's treated as alternative approach. For quite a long time, associations of therapists are fighting to get into the public health system as the recognizable therapist because the demands of society, it's so high that the public system cannot sustain all these needs. And the psychologists, they do like a regular studies 5-6 years, and then they can do their own specialization. However, during the studies, they are not trained in specific approach. However, they can already start their practice. They need to also gain authorization, national authorization for their profession. That means that they need to work in some kind of institution that can prove that they are able to do their work.
How society looks upon psychotherapy or any psychological help?
This is really interesting question because I was thinking a lot about this because it's somehow still the psychotherapy and therapy, it's kind of like a taboo. It's kind of like things that people are ashamed of. However, the national approach is to enhance the mental health. So you will hear and see a lot of different information. In Norway, they provide really great psychological education. So you will have a lot of information about mental health and people will be talking. However, on like individual terms, people won't share that, oh, I'm having my therapy sessions. People won't share that they have such an experience. It's kind of like a paradox that they speak a lot about mental health, but when it comes to the meeting one-on-one, people won't share it.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like they speak a lot about mental health, but not about themselves in connection to mental health in that way.
Right. So everyone will also use the description that, oh, this is really good for your mental health. It's important. So they will use very generalized descriptions, but no one will point out that, oh, I'm struggling with this, with that, and I'm seeking help to deal with my issues, or even family troubles, whatever. People won't say it up loud.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think is that?
Because you smile.
You smile through the troubles.
You are kind, you smile, and everything is good. And if someone will ask you, how is it going? You say that everything is all right. And there is no space to have the conversation that actually life sucks. I cannot deal with some issues. There is no space for that because everything it's nice. And in Norwegian culture, people are afraid of going into your personal zone. So also the culture carries the vibe of huge respect to everyone's space. Nobody will ask you about your own, issues that you go through because they respect you. And that's great thing because nobody just steps over your life. However, it creates a lot of feeling of loneliness and isolation. So that's why there is this stereotype about Norwegians that they are a bit cold, but actually they are really respecting you and your life. Mm-hmm.
So this smile is like a mask, it's like a facade?
It can be, especially for foreigners. It's really hard to read Norwegians because you don't know if this is a smile of this person is kind or just pretending that it's kind. Because Norwegians are they don't like running into the conflicts. So they will find their way around to tell you that something is not right. But they are going so much around that you won't get it. If you come from the culture when it's just straightforward, you won't just pick up all these informations. And they are trying all their best to say you that something is not wrong, but you just won't get it. Sometimes it's really hard to read people. However, everything is based on this respect for the other. So I don't want to upset you. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. I don't want you to feel awkward around me. So many times when also foreigners start speaking Norwegians, they won't reply you in Norwegian. They will switch to English because they want you to freely express yourself, that you can talk with them. And the others, they are upset, like, no, please speak to me Norwegian, I want to practice. But they see how you struggle. So they are so nice that they want you to feel free to speak.
What is the society teaching about child-parent relationship, and whether this value of society also influence how you design your interventions as a therapist?
So when we speak about the children and relationship with adults, education approach to children, we need to speak about independency. So being independent is a huge value. Independence goes along with freedom. Freedom carries a lot of responsibility, which makes you a lot of independent. So from the start, when child is falling down on the ground, in Poland, everyone just runs and helps the child to rise up, that you don't want the child to fall down. In Norway, child falls down, and then you slowly approach the child and ask, are you okay? And now you can get up. So you wait how the child will just find its way to get up. You can assist, but you are not just grabbing and putting it up. You are allowing the child to find its own way to stand up. And this reflects all kinds of activities. So independence and freedom and huge respect, it's something that you will find in the kindergarten. When I started working in Norwegian kindergarten, I felt like everyone is treated as humans. It's weird because this is the value, like you are a human, so you need to be respected for who you are. However, in each country, people are interpreting this in the different way. And in Norway, what I mean by people are treated as humans, so children are asked what they want, and this is respected. Children are asked, how do you feel? This is respected. It's not tear off. They are asked to be a part of the society, of every decision in kindergarten. You ask children, do you like it? How would you like to have these activities? What do you think about this? And this enables children to be very creative, to be very decisive, to have their own opinion, to have their own statement, which means that you are creating really independent human being. That means that the freedom of taking actions, it's allowed. When I compare it, Polish families raise their children in Norway and they go to Poland. So their families, they are saying that their children are misbehaving, they are not respecting adults, and they are doing whatever they want to. And in Norway is said like, wow, you can do so many things on your own. You have your own opinion. That's wonderful. So it's also the approach of not being scared that others, even that they are older than you, can rule upon you. Children, they don't have such a picture. Everyone is equal. Everyone is important. And this also being reflected in the working space, where your employer gives you a lot of freedom to do your task, and they trust you because they believe that if you say that you will do something, you will do. Because you know that, and you know if you cannot do something, and you will say that up loud. So it's clear.
And because to me, the way my mind goes is in some way you are taught independence from early on, speaking your mind, participating in the activities in a sense, directing them. What do you want? What do you don't want? At the same time, you said it's really like a respectful country with a smile on their face. They will try to avoid the conflict. They won't share their inner opinion beings. So to me that two doesn't go so well together.
Right. And that brings in clarity to the situation. Many foreigners get lost. And this clarity goes with the lack of guidance, lack of clear expectations, because it's so much freedom. And if you are not used to it, you get lost because you need to decide about yourself, because everyone is just trusting you that you will do your best. And if you fail, they say, oh yeah, you failed, but this is the process of learning. Next time you will do better. And in that way, you can become more creative, more innovative, because it's allowed.
What are the learned beliefs regarding client-therapist relationship, and can the relationship continue outside the therapy once the therapy process is over?
There are not certain rules how this relationship should look like. However, you've been taught at school, like in my school, that you are professional in your approach. So you stick to the ethical rules. And if the therapy is over, like you cannot, when you meet the person on the street, you want approach this person and said that, oh, how is it going? We've been together on these therapy sessions. You can wait till this person can approach you and say hi. So in that way, you are still protecting the person of being revealed that this person had the therapy with you. However, as I noticed, this is very fluid. So it's not like that. And also, as in Norway, there is no hierarchy. You go by the first name. We are equal all the time. It gets into the relationship where everyone cares about each other. And in the approach, how I work, however, we are looking on the method, that this method, it's about this and that. We are always saying that what cures during the therapy is the relationship that you create with your client, with the person. So it's this bond. This bond continues even that the therapy is over, because you become very close. So sometimes I have people that they can send me pictures of their dream house that they bought, and they dream about this few years ago when they met me. Or when I work with families, children, the parents, they will share stuff with me, even that is everything is over, because we share the bond. And I'm personally not strict about that. I'm also active in different groups. I do different stuff, and I'm recognizable in different groups. So people, they can approach me, they can come and talk to me, they can share what they have been through. And to me, this is just great. However, in the public system, it's a little bit different, because it's a different setup, that you go to some institution, you treat a psychologist as a doctor. So it's more professional setup in the sense that there is a certain line. However, in Norwegian culture, it's flattened. So you become very friendly with everyone. And it doesn't matter if you are a king, if you are a doctor, or whoever. If someone likes you and you share something together, then it just continues. When sometimes I'm getting Polish clients in Norway, they always ask me how I can address you, how I can talk to you. Are you Miss, Mrs., or I can just speak to you by your name? And also, they are sharing with me that in Poland, during the therapy session, you need to always address the person as Miss or Mr. You cannot use the name, because in that way, they lose their authority. In Norway, there is no such a question. Like, you are so human to human, very authentic.
And if you look at the way they are raised, and then they come as a client to you, so how are they regarding, do they want to please you or not hurt you or avoid a conflict with you, or they are raising, the questions and giving their own ideas and are really like, no, I'm not doing it that way. So how are they as a client?
This is very interesting, because sometimes they can come in the role that oh, I won't share that much about me because I don't want to put a burden on you. So they will take care of me, that I won't suffer because of their story. And here we have a work that, okay, I take responsibility of myself. I'm creating this space for you to share whatever you feel like it. And also I respect how much you want to share. So in the beginning, they will just check the ground, how much I'm able to fill in. And also what I've noticed is that I'm sometimes getting people in my sessions that they were lacking from other professionals, that these professionals will ask uncomfortable questions. So this, unfortunately, I have such experience when people are being treated in the public system and they feel that they lack of the deep connection because nobody asked them how it is, or do you have suicidal thoughts? Nobody asked. And they weren't able to just share it. So they kind of like slide through the topics because it was so messy, uncomfortable. And the other person didn't have the courage to ask what is really bothering the other. And this is also reflecting the rules that we don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. So sometimes I'm getting people in my practice where they are saying like, look, I got this session with this psychologist and they are giving me some videos about how I can handle stress. And this is our session. And then we talk what I can do to handle my stress. But nobody asked me how I actually feel. So this sliding through things, this is also very common.
And how are they with this direct question? Of course, some are totally okay, but I'm wondering if you are super direct as a therapist, and coming from their culture, are they comfortable or uncomfortable?
In the beginning, the feeling of being uncomfortable, and then it's like, oof, I'm relieved that finally something is happening. Finally, we are just touching something important. It's still important to ask these uncomfortable questions. I like to ask, and I'm not expecting the answer. So I just plant the seeds, and then I give a space. Like if you want to answer, you answer. If not, if you don't have to, we just work what we have. My question makes you uncomfortable. You become scared, or you become curious what I'm thinking about you, because it's a lot of projections. We are in the room of projections. So just the question, like I don't care about the answer. To me, it's important what this question brings up.
I am left confused, if I am completely honest. I'm trying to imagine, like to make sense of their culture, who they are, but at the same time, you're giving a good insight.
There is a lack of clarity, lack of guidance, lack of feedback, lack of clear expectations. So you really don't know how to move around. And this makes people so confused. And I'm and I'm aware of that because you are all the time sliding. This is what I do right now. You are just sliding. And in the same time, this is a huge paradox. In the same time, people like to have clear rules. They just love to follow the rules, follow the law, instructions. They love that. But when you meet them, when you are in the meeting is over and you still don't know what we're going to do. And they are like, what the hell? Like, why we sat there for 1 hour? So what is the summary? And the summary is that this will get fixed. And if you are from the culture where there is not something that it will be fixed. Like someone has to fix something. You are a doer, so you need to put something in action. But in Norwegian culture, you just say, it will be fixed. Like how? What? Like, give me some meat to chew, and you don't have it. Or you will hear like, don't stress about that. Ikke stress. And then you're like, how I should stay calm. I need to do, fix, action. Like I've learned to bring space to situations. Like, let's breathe here. Let's wait. Let's just wait what it will happen. If I cannot fix something today, I have another day. And tomorrow I will have different day and different mind, and maybe different things will come up. And they allow this space. So this is just wonderful. But if you are from the culture of doers, you are lost. Because you are like, solution. right now. This is also some negative threat to how the health system works, because it can be very slow. Some people are very impatient. So how it will go, when I will see results. And there's like, no, there is a process. If you are sick, you go to the doctor and they won't give any antibiotics. They will tell you your body will fight it by its own. You just need to wait. You just need to go through it. And you're like, come on, I'm dying. Okay, so you can have a painkiller. That's it. However, when it comes also to the mental health, when people are having some problems in their life, they go to the doctor and they often prescribe pills. So this is also contradictory, to the whole approach that how you can help yourself. They will give you a lot of antidepressant. They will just mention that you can try psychotherapy if you are struggling with some very serious problems. They will send you to the psychologist. However, they will ask you if you want to have antidepressant. And they will ask you about your opinion many times. And this is also where people get lost, because you want your doctor to decide for you. And in Norway, they ask you, what would you like to have?
Is supervision a must for a therapist in Norway?
It depends from which approach you are. In my approach, Gestalt therapy approach, it's a must when you are part of the associations of the therapists, because this is how we care about being professional in our field. And each month I go to the supervision. I meet with other therapists. We are like a group of 4 or 5 people. Everyone has different background and we work in the group. You can also have individual supervision. However, I found very exciting group supervision because you learn from the others. Psychologists in their workspace, they also have supervision. However, it's mostly based on your need, if you need this supervision, and also if you are doing the specialization in the therapy. So that also is a requirement.
And what are the most common complaints that the client comes to therapy for?
On the top list is anxiety, depression, burnout. When it comes to teenagers, is self-harm, eating disorders.
And you mentioned that maybe people don't share that they go to therapy. Are they coming to therapy and not sharing, or they are also not coming to therapy because they think mental health is important, but not for them, or they come the last minute?
They will come when things get really bad. And also when anxiety, I think like this depression I don't work in the world of diagnosis. However, depression is a pretty big container of different kinds of emotions that they are very low. And most people will recognize themselves in this kind of container. So when they really struggle to be at work, when they really struggle to be a good parent, when they feel that they are in such a low mood, they are not good partners in their relationships, it starts bothering them. Their body is lacking energy. They cannot be active in different activities. They are falling behind. They want to isolate themselves even more. That's the alarm call for them that, okay, this is wrong. I don't want to be like that. So even in the Norwegian society, you have a room to have this step back, to be for your own. When it becomes too dangerous for you, then people will reach out.
Really a lot of space. This is what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Yes. And this is like when you are going to so imagine that you are going to like a huge stadium. It can give you a lot of possibilities. You can do whatever you want to. And it can scare you because you don't know how to move around, how to navigate in such a space.
If you would share one tool, belief, or approach that is a must-have for you as a therapist, what would that be?
So my approach is that I believe that everyone has answers in themselves. And this carries a lot of trust in the other and empowerment.